Welcome to a quick and dirty tutorial on how to animate SVG files using SVGator. So SVGs, they are these files that represent images, and they are vector images, which means that they're not an array of pixels, they're instead a bunch of mathematical equations, which means that you can zoom in as much as you want in the SVG image, and it will always look clean, like this. I can just zoom in on my character, and the image always looks good. And so most of the time, you really want to use SVGs in your web apps. The other cool thing you can do with SVG files is that you can animate them, and the animation also does not impact performance at all, and it creates a really nice effect that raises the quality of the project. Like this animation right here, which is an Ethereum logo with some animated eyes, which is what I'm going to show you how to do today. I did it with SVGator, and it was very easy. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I did that. And in the process, you will learn more about SVGator and how easy it is to animate SVGs. So I am in SVGator. You can go to SVGator by going to svgator.com. And it gives you a nice UI that you can use to animate your SVGs. So in this case, I got an SVG of the Ethereum logo. On the left, you see this polygon. So the SVGs are just a bunch of shapes that are put together. And each of those shapes I can modify individually. Like this polygon, which is this black part of the logo, I can modify independently of all the other parts. On the right here, I got a bunch of data, and this data is what we are going to modify in order to animate. For example, if I make this bigger, as you can see, the size and position properties are changing as I put them bigger. So the animation is just going to be a question of having these values change over time. So before we animate the eyes, we need to upload them. So here, I already have the eye SVG uploaded to SVGator. I'm going to click on it, and now it's on my file. These eyes are not eyes I took on the internet. I did them myself. This tutorial is not about how to create your own SVGs, but if you want to know, I did them with Inkscape, and it's pretty easy. Like this eye is just an oval with an outer oval, another circle inside. And this oval, I created a gradient just to make it pop a little bit. So now I need to scale the eyes to make them a little bit smaller so that they can fit into the logo. So what I can do is, here, click on drawing, which is the SVG that contained both of the eyes, and I can go on scale. Scale is going to make it smaller, so I'm gonna go from 1 to 0.75, and the same thing here. Now it's a bit smaller. I think it's better, so I can just put it there in the center. So now, how do we animate the pupils? Well, it's pretty simple. What we really want is that the Y position changes over time, right? So I want the pupil to go to the left, and then I want it to go to the right. So with the arrow keys, I can move the pupil, so I can play a bit with its location. But I need to tell SVGator the start point and the end point of the location of the pupil. So I'm gonna go here, bottom left, and here I got all kinds of the properties of the SVG that I can modify and animate. In this case, I'm gonna take the position. So it creates a timeline here. At 0 seconds, I'm gonna put the initial position, which is this one. Then I'm gonna say that at 0, like at 1 second maybe, I want the pupil to be on the left. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it in this position. Move it to the left, like this. Now SVGator understood that I wanted to move the pupil. So if I do start, as you can see, it goes from the initial position to the last position. And now maybe I want the eye to like flicker to the right really fast. So I'm gonna take like this, a very small time limit, and I'm gonna move the pupil to the right. And now I can just start again. And that's it. That's the animation. And now I want to show you the final result of the animation. So I'm going to do play. This is the one I had on the React app. On the preview, the pupil moves, and then the eyelids thin. They move. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Here you can see on the bottom, position. That is the same thing I showed you earlier. It's just the pupil moving to the left and moving to the right. Then, how did I make the pupil close? Well, it's very simple. I have I put a square here. It is the same color as the background, so you will not see it. So it's hidden. So I can change the color to make it more visible, like this. And what I'm doing is I'm modifying the anchor property. So I do this here. It modifies, and that's what creates the illusion that the eyes are closing. So just like any app, there's like some layers to all the images. And I put this eyelid at the top layer. Finally, I want to show some settings. Here on the bottom left, there's this gear icon. I put the duration of the animation. So I put it at 4 seconds because it is animated for 3 seconds, and at the 4th second, I want a 1 second pause. Then I put it infinite because I want it to go again and again and again. Finally, to export my SVG, I did this here. I'm going to do it again. The gear icon on the top right. I select the animation type, JavaScript or CSS. It doesn't matter that much in my opinion. Then the trigger that starts the animation, I put it on load. So like you saw in the app, when it started animating. But I could also animate it when the mouse goes over it or on click. So if you have an icon that is clickable in your user interface, you can put it on click. And that's it. So I'm back on the React application I showed you earlier. And I want to show you how I imported the SVG because you have to do something a bit weird. So here is my code. And go on add.js. No, yes, this one. Add.js. And here is, can delete that. I got the EAT logo, which is just the exported animation from SVGator. Now, if you try to put the SVG either as an image or as an SVG, what you will notice is that it's not animating. And it was a bit frustrating when I first tried it. But the solution is, I found it in the documentation for SVGator. You have to import your SVG like this. Like you have this object type, the type, and in data you put in the animation. And when you do that, you'll see the SVG being animated. That's it. So I hope this tutorial was useful to you. I think it's very easy to make this animation, and it's a very cool skill to have. So if it was useful to you, subscribe to the video, and see you next time.